My wife has been sharing that she doesn't feel the same about our adopted daughter than our bio daughter. She was told for years that she had fertility issues and had 2 consecutive miscarriages when we were initially trying to have children. We adopted our daughter when she was 3, then 2 years later my wife got pregnant unexpectedly and ended up having a very healthy pregnancy. So in this context, my wife has recently admitted she does not feel the same about both of them and sometimes feels she loves our bio daughter more and prefers to spend time with her over our adopted daughter. She says she feels like a bad person and our adopted daughter will eventually notice the difference and resent us both. I don't know what to do. I have been listening to her, but I don't think I can help much beyond that. I suggested she might talk to a therapist, but doesn't feel comfortable revealing her deepest feeling to a stranger. I don't think she's a bad person, or that her behavior makes her feelings obvious. She's been a wonderful mom for both of them. How to help my wife? TL. Doctor, wife going through emotional distress because she feels she loves our bio daughter more than our adopted daughter. How to help her? Your wife should put her pride aside and go to therapy for her kid's sake. Those strangers are trained professionals who can help her navigate this situation. She chose to be a mother to a child who needed one. I understand she's not *trying* to love bio daughter more, but she is, and now she needs to do what's best for ***both** of your kids, which is therapy. This must be addressed immediately. It's not enough for her to share these feelings with you and hope they go away. I hope you love adopted daughter enough to advocate for her. I agree, but I think they should also look into family counseling to strengthen all of their familial bonds. Yeah, a therapist might help here. Your adopted daughter will definitely notice the favoritism. Children notice so much more than we give them credit for. Has she been through any counseling to deal with her trauma? Not just her, but the child needs therapy too. I noticed at age 5 the extreme favoritism in my messed up family. I didn't say anything until I was an adult. Then I cut ties. But a lot more to mine than just favorites. But kids are a lot smarter than we think they are, and I sadly can bet this child knows her sister is the favorite and it's eating away at that poor child. I hid my despair well looking back on it now over 20 plus years later. The counseling might be embarrassing and hard, but it's better than the alternative. It's infinitely more disgraceful to keep going in a way that lets your adoptive daughter realize she's disfavored. Also, you need to balance the wings of the plane. This is why adoption cannot be used as a replacement for biological children. So many people adopt as a way to heal from infertility trauma, and it leads to situations like this. Adoption is a choice in itself, not second best to having biological children. Your wife definitely needs to speak to a therapist so that she can learn to accept and process her own feelings about this while traumatizing your daughter as little as possible. I know you can't change past decisions, but you both need to make decisions now with both your children's needs in mind. You both need to take care of your own mental health and emotions so that you don't mess up this. As an adoptee, I'm into this. I hope reads this. r/adoption may be of help. Be prepared to get grilled by adoptees, understandably, but hopefully you can appreciate their perspectives. Do you think it could be that she went from thinking she couldn't carry her own bio child, and so when she did she built a deeper connection with her? It's definitely something she needs therapy for. Do your best to ensure that your bio daughter isn't being favored over your adopted daughter. They are both your daughters, and if either of your children learn of this difference in how much either one of them is loved by their mum, could cause so many issues with their relationship as siblings, their self-image and their relationship with you as parents. Your wife needs to see a therapist. Leaving things like this to fester is what causes families to fall apart. To be blunt, your wife needs to suck it up and go to therapy. It might be embarrassing, but it's her duty as a parent to do everything she can for the daughter you both chose to adopt. You don't just not do the work because it's hard. Parents are human and have favorite children, even when all their children are biologically theirs. But good parents need to recognize this and make sure they treat all their kids equally. Otherwise your daughters will notice, if they haven't already, and it may even drive a wedge between them. Parents like to think they're so sneaky when it comes to hiding things like this from their kids, but the kids almost always know. I agree with the advice that your wife needs therapy. In the meantime, if you see instances of favoritism, you need to find a discreet way of shutting it down or balancing the scales. You need to protect your daughter. 10F. Op. If your wife is suggesting time alone with 5F, persuade her to make it a family trip and make sure you dote on 10F as much as she does on 5F. While it's positive that your wife is willing to admit there's a problem here, she's not doing everything she can to fix it or take proactive steps to address it. So you need to have an uncomfortable conversation with your wife about her shortcoming in that regard. When it comes down to it, your children have to come first, even over your spouse. At this age, they cannot advocate on their own behalf, so you have to do it for them in every way that you can. I would consider going to a therapist who specializes in attachments. Healthy bonds can be artificially grown with the right guidance. Sometimes it's as simple as having your wife and adopted child go to obstacle courses together where trust in one another is essential to completing the course. I was adopted at age 10. A lot of people are suggesting your wife needs therapy and I agree, but I definitely also think you need to go to family therapy together. It will help each of you individually and also help with your family dynamic. As someone who has been there, if your wife knows then chances are your adopted daughter 100% already knows. I picked up a lot from a very young age, and I was more conscious of some things that other kids never thought about. Don't let this continue unattended and expect the issue to fix itself. It will lead to resentment and a lot of complexes for both of your children. It will also have an impact on your daughter-sibling relationship. Your adoptive daughter will soon be, or already is, entering a stage of development where she will be able to understand things, even if she isn't directly told so. The best thing you can do for your family is get family counseling to sort this out before her feelings are further hurt. This is why adoption should not be used as a way to fill a hole for people who can't have biological children. Your wife needs to seek therapy. And I know you say she's a great mother, but eventually your oldest daughter will notice that she is being treated differently. So true. There's so many stories out there of adopted children being returned. Truly awful. She just revealed her deepest feelings to thousands of strangers via you. So why is a therapist different? A therapist is trained to deal with these situations. There's no reason to be precious about oh what if I'm judged, what if I'm awful? Therapists hear some really bad things. This is like normal, all things considered. I was adopted at the age of 3, and then my parents divorced and remarried, and it was evident my adoptive father preferred my new step-siblings over me and my brothers, especially myself because I was the youngest and the only one living at home at the time of the divorce. It will hurt your adopted daughter's relationship with you, her sister, and her mother if you allow this issue to become more embedded. Therapy and counseling I highly recommend, and I hope you and your family have a good resolution to this. I suggested she might talk to a therapist, but doesn't feel comfortable revealing her deepest feeling to a stranger. Honestly, my response to that would be, that sucks, but you're gonna have to get over it. By adopting this kid, you both made a commitment to taking care of her. It's totally understandable and human if your wife is realizing she has some limitations, but it is totally unacceptable for her to refuse to try a reasonable solution because it's uncomfortable. You should insist she get professional help at this stage. She needs therapy and you need to push her to go. It's not fair to your daughter that she feels like less due to being adopted. If she doesn't go to counseling, your daughter will have to. If she has any intention of being a good mother to both children, it's her job to deal with her feelings, so the children aren't forced to do it in her place.